Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Long and Short of It. I'm Jen.
I'm Jacob Bowden, professional golfer and explorer.
Explorer. And I'm Jen. I'm Jacob's partner in crime, wife extraordinaire. And well, this is not a golf podcast. And we're here to really use golf as a medium in which to talk about bigger things in life and use your story, use your experience with the golf as a way to dig deeper and see what other things that we can uncover.
20 years professional golf.
Yes.
A lot of cool things happen.
20 years for us being together too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I turned pro in 2003. We met in 2004. She's been here
The whole time.
Yeah.
And I've been here and you've been here and we've been here. And our cat Moses is 18 years old, so he's been also here.
He's roaming around, right?
Yeah.
Just off camera now.
And you're in our home in Detroit, so welcome. And today, usually what we've been doing is pulling, from a stack of cards, experiences that you have on those cards from your golf experience, and we pull one of those, and life experience, and we pull one of those cards, and we use that as a prompt to go deeper in that experience and then talk about the deeper thing in life. But today, we're going to do something different, right? Whoa. So I want to kick us off. Yesterday, you went out, you played golf with a mutual friend of ours, and you came home, and I remember just, seeing you, you're just kind of like, you were even wearing orange, and every time he wears orange, it's like caution, right? So something's going on, like you're really fun with your colors.
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes, yes.
Dress intentionally.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I wear all orange, I'm a big orange cone. It's caution.
So yesterday was caution. He comes back and you're out on the golf course all day and you were down. And it turned out when I asked you, I said, you said that you had this really horrible round, like you couldn't feel the club at all, right? That you couldn't feel the club, couldn't feel your swing, it just very disconnected. And, you're a pro. So like your touch and connection. I always talk about golf as like, you have this like skinny stick and you're trying to hit this small ball and you're trying to swing it really fast, and just the miracle of making that connection. I mean, that's why, for anybody who's tuning in who plays golf, right? That's the feeling when you have that connection, that's a feeling you're constantly chasing, right? That connection. So I mostly feel when I play, like, whoa, what's happening? Where am I going to hit it? So I always feel sort of all over the place, but you're used to feeling really connected and knowing exactly where you're at in space with this stick hitting this small ball. And talk to me about what happened yesterday, like when you came back, because it's also happened a few other times over the course where you have a bad round and you're like, you want to burn it down. You're like, oh my gosh, maybe I just need to leave the whole sport and, whatever else you're going to become, right? So what happened?
Golf is I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like had a lot of aspects of performance anxiety, which I experience as like a quote unquote performer as an athlete. But then people have performance anxiety around whatever they're assigned to school. Also, whenever something is like perceived as important, particularly I think, and when you don't care, it's like, whatever, you're relaxed. But then sometimes when you introduce an element of like, ooh, this is important, or you make it feel important, then when it does
mess with your brain
way, you can come away from it feeling pretty awful. So that happened. So like for whatever reason, I went to the course. My body just felt terrible anxiety, and I'm a very kind of strong, calm, chill person. And even when I'm feeling what I feel like is kind of like terror inside, I probably don't really show it as much as I'm feeling it.
That's true.
But so that was happening. And then when you have those kinds of feelings of just being anxious, particularly in a sport that requires being really in tune with your feeling.
Everything, yes.
And then also like one of my gifts, I think, is like this is kind of a funny, interesting exercise for people to do that I don't know if you've done this, but I've done, but
find out.
Something we did in the pandemic was, it was in DC, when we lived in DC. Ask a handful of people, 5 to 10 people around you that have known you for a really long time, hey, what are my gifts? What are
I
the
remember when we did
what are the things that I'm like, we're all good at something or other, just kind of naturally. We have a knack for it. And sometimes you're aware of what that is, but then it's also interesting to see, like, what do other people think it is that, like, hey, you're just naturally good at that.
tip for the group. Do that. Ask people. Yeah, it's a really fun. If you're, you have a friend out there or a partner or something, it is a fun exercise because you get a sense of how other people.
If you're watching this in a place that you can put comments, like, leave it in the comments. It'd be fun to like kind of read what
Good idea.
gifts are. But mine were strength and athleticism. And part of the athleticism is I have a really good sense of body awareness and spatial awareness. So then even me, like, with the gift of that, and then all of a sudden it just goes out the door and I have like no sense of like where I am or what I'm doing. And like, golf is hard, but interestingly, when you're just an everyday golfer and then a professional, golf is funny. There's like, you'll have some really bad days and some really great days, and the bulk are kind of in the middle.
Yeah, it's like life.
And then even at the professional level, there's still that similar amount of range. So like professional golf, you see all the highlights on TV, but it's not all perfect. It's still human. So yes, yesterday I was feeling a lot of anxiety and I had a pretty bad round. And so
You wanted to burn it all down.
yeah, I when she had come home, I'd already cleaned up and showered.
Yeah.
And then I put on my caution.
Yeah.
So it was a rough day at the office.
Yeah, it was a rough day at the office.
So to speak, and certainly something that you've had to deal with me feeling before. Like that, I go into some golf tournaments or something, and then it's really hard when you have something that you feel like is important to you, and then it puts pressure on yourself, and then if sometimes you might perform great, but then if you don't, it can be really hard to take it. So it ends up, I remember last night I told you, like, hey, you were trying to help, which is great. But then also it's just like, hey, this is one of those moments. I'll be fine. I just need a few hours to come down out of this. And like, once I sleep on it tomorrow, I'll like be ready to charge and move forward again. So that was kind of like the gist of what happened.
Well, I think about it in terms of we all have off days or bad days or days where whatever ball that we're trying to hit, we can't seem to make connection or we just feel so out of sorts. And I thought about that even with my own journey and my professional, like the things that, you and I both operate in our space of passion, so it feels very personal in the sense that you and myself, we're not just out there working, we're out there really in our passion space,
It feels especially challenging also when it's coming from a space of authenticity.
Yeah.
Then it feels even more personal because it's like, oh, the world hates me, the world doesn't support me.
Yeah.
It's, whatever.
Well, and what comes up for me, because I've definitely had moments like that, and I've talked to you like, gosh, like I just don't feel like things are clicking, and or I've had this really off day, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing this, but like, why is this happening? And I wonder, like, when you shared that with me, I thought about a few things. One is just, the way that our minds can almost hijack our experience. Sometimes, I think that aspect of, for whatever you were dealing with anxiety yesterday, and my sort of take on golf when I'm out there playing. I'm just very loosey. I mean, I'm hitting shots all over the place, and I just kind of laugh at it, right? I don't take it personally. I'm like, oh. And so that means when I do hit what I think is a good shot, then it's like, whoa, that's amazing. Where'd that come from? So my experience with sort of failure on the golf course, and I think it's because of my mindset, because I'm almost expecting it to be a disaster. And so when it works out, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. But then if I apply, I don't really find that I would do that with other aspects, with other aspects of my life, professionally, the things that I'm doing to, live out my passion, live out my calling, I sometimes come in with more rigidness. And so what I was thinking about when you shared that is I was just wondering, like, how do we bring more play and softness? And I know one of the things you've been working on in your own golf game right now is just the joy and the play, and how can you, especially when you go into something where you maybe feel like the stakes are a little bit higher, that's how your brain is perceiving it. Maybe you're playing with somebody you want to impress, or maybe you are playing with a potential sponsor, maybe you are playing in a competition and there's, money on the table, and then that's important for livelihood. I wonder, like, I know that so I wanted to kind of see, like, yesterday, and I wonder when you have, you're playing tomorrow, and I wonder, like, what might it look like if you were to approach that with a sort of different mindset? Like, I don't know. I don't even know more precisely what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah,
what do you
so
think?
tomorrow's round is with the same person that was yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a tournament.
No.
I mean, I think like I'm probably attaching
Too much.
meaning to it
Yeah.
because there's potential sponsorship involved.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. And then just going through this rebrand,
Yeah.
I think has been unsettling,
Mm.
exciting, but also scary, because my career up until this point was all for 22 years was around like a competitive athlete, and I still like that athletic part of it, but now I'm not focusing as much. I'm trying to get away from the competitive part, maybe still being in tournaments and things where it is within like a competition, but shifting my focus to the play
The play.
and the joy and the fun of it
The
and
silliness, right? Like,
the things that I like. And then that's, I guess I'm feeling, I'm a little bit, it was like I was tethered to this one thing, and then all of a sudden I've been kind of letting that go, and then now I'm out in limbo, and then I'm trying to exist in a space that's even more authentic. So then there's a possibility of I'm at a stage of this letting go of like, I don't know if this is going to stick or hold.
it almost doesn't matter, does it?
It
doesn't matter.
a vulnerable space also.
I mean, it's just for you, for us, and whoever is feeling connected. It almost doesn't matter.
But also, yeah, like ultimately it's fine. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
When you get in these moments, it doesn't change. Any outcome doesn't change who you are ultimately, or your inherent value, or
Exactly. I mean, I'm just having fun with this, and so I love that we're sharing this part of our relationship and conversations with a community of whoever's tuning in. But, I wonder, as you kind of go through these, how do you really start to bring that softness and that play and that almost like I could give a shit, what anybody thinks. And I know it's harder but it seems to me like it's even connected. Last week you published an article, you wrote an article in response to, what's that player's name that just won the,
Scotty Scheffler, he's the world #1 currently.
that guy. And you he said that he's out there, he's winning all the tournaments. And he's like, I don't even, like, why do I care about competition? And you wrote a really thoughtful piece that was published
ahead of this tournament. So he did some pre-tournament interviews, media interviews. And he was saying, like, he's been,
what's the point of winning?
Having a year statistically that's like Tiger Woods' best year.
Yeah.
So it's just a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
And then he's pondering, like, why do I have this drive to win when ultimately it's not a fulfilling life? And this was a few days before this major tournament. And then he goes into the major tournament, and interestingly enough, he wins the major tournament.
And I think that's so interesting. I wonder, because maybe he's like, I don't know. Does he give a shit? Like, maybe he's out there. He's like, I really don't give a shit. I mean, maybe there's something there. Like, how do you practice that I don't give a shitism, right? And sorry for the multiple, shits, but like, I don't know. Like, let's just be blunt about it. I wonder, like, if
Man, you got the shits.
like, get rid of it. And I think that's like such a lesson in life. When you come, even yesterday, your response, you just felt so down, and, it's like you wanted to get as far away from golf as possible. And like, who cares? You had I have a bad day. And I'm saying this also to myself, like, why do we care so much? I mean, it's not that we don't care, but why do we put so much pressure on that one thing? And I think, like, that's a great sort of thinking about, all right, if you would have played horribly yesterday and you just been like, oh my gosh, this is one of those days, you know what? I'm going to have fun with this energy. I'm going to like experiment. I'm going to hit the ball. What if you leaned into that? You know what? I'm going to hit that ball totally in the place where I don't want it to be, and just practice like a game of quote unquote mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, what if you practice a game of quote unquote failure? Probably if there's any coaches watching, there's like, this is a horrible idea. But there's that one, Mickey Singer, who wrote The Surrender Experiment. It's a wonderful book. And he talks about how he just like, got to this point in life where he was just surrendering to the moments of friction that would come up in life. Rather than resisting it, he'd just be like, okay, how can I practice, a sense of just giving in and getting into the wonderment. And I just wonder if, say, for example, you go out tomorrow and you continue to feel a little bit off and not have your touch, what might it look like if you were just, you know what, I'm going to lean into this and I'm just going to hit the ball all over the place and have fun with it and laugh my way to the end.
It would probably help if I took a moment either today, or it's a very early round tomorrow, so probably better today, and just pre-thought it out a little.
Yeah.
There was this exercise that I did, I think when we lived in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
I was out playing by myself, getting ready for a big tournament.
Yeah.
Just practicing. And I hit a great first shot, and then I hit a great second shot. And the ball is really close to the hole.
Yeah.
And so non-golfers, it's called a birdie, basically. So it's what you're supposed to do is get it in 4, I had an opportunity to get it in 3.
Yeah.
Which is what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you're playing for score.
I mean, you want to get a hole-in-one each time, I think, is what you really want to do. Yeah. It's like happy, don't worry. Can I just get in the hole? I do it every time, right?
Much easier.
Yeah. Exactly.
But so the ball was really close.
Yeah.
Into a spot where I probably should make it, but it's also possible that
There's an edge. Yeah.
So then for some reason I felt really, really nervous over this.
Yeah.
So fortunately I had the time and
Yeah.
there was no one around where I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah.
I'm not playing for anything today. Why am I
You're just out there alone.
nervous
Yeah.
by myself out in nature about this ball going in a hole?
I mean, that's perspective.
It
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But here I am nervous. I put a mark on where my ball was and took my ball,
True pro. Well,
went off, sat in the woods.
good Lord.
I sat against a tree,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
and then I worked through it mentally, and then let some people.
I mean, that's hilarious.
If people come up,
Yeah.
then
You're like, don't worry, I'm just working on myself.
well, yeah, I really tried to pick it apart. It's like, why am I nervous?
Yeah.
All right, well, I forget the exact things of it. Well, I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what happens if I miss it? Then I don't know whatever was in my head. I'm like, oh, maybe
Unpacking it.
good
Yeah.
to do this.
Oh, yeah. And then it's just like,
I don't know if it was specifically that.
it's a huge dinosaur tail.
Really trying.
Yeah.
Oh, well, why this? All right. Well,
Yeah.
well, why this? All right. Well, why this? And I sat there and just really picked it apart. And then
Mhm.
ultimately I got to a space that I pretended like I missed the putt.
Mm.
And then I asked myself, who am I? I am still all that I am. Nothing has changed inherently about me. And then I pretended in my mind that I made the putt.
Mm.
And then I was like, what changed? Well, nothing changed. It doesn't make me a better person. It doesn't make me a more.
Good therapy session.
So it was like a really good self-therapy session.
Yeah.
But I took a moment to pick it apart and really kind of dig deep until I got to a space where I really didn't care. It dissipated the nerves.
Yeah.
Because then I realized either way it turns out, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And as silly as it sounded, just being out there by myself,
Just like what goes on in our head.
but I
Yeah.
picked it apart,
Yeah.
paused, got to a moment where it was like, it's okay either way. And I really felt that.
Yeah.
And then I went up to the green and put the ball back on. And then I just
Drum roll.
hit it really calmly. And I really didn't care if it went in or
Yeah.
And of course it goes again.
Well, because I think what I love about that, one of the things they say about imposter syndrome, which sometimes a lot of people experience, I was like, oh my gosh, am I really cut out to do this? Or, what they say when you're experiencing that deeper emotional energy, whether it's imposter or fear, that rather than just sweep it away, to look at it, to actually, because usually it's something coming from deep within you that is there trying to protect you. Trying to keep you out of danger. And they say rather than just brush it away and just kind of they say bring it up, look at it closely. And that's where I think, with you and what you just shared, you didn't just brush it away. You didn't just say, I'm gonna ignore that. Because then you probably would have been more tense. Instead, you sat with it, you looked at it, you looked like closely at it, you picked it apart to the point where you got to the point where it's like, oh, this doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm okay. And I think like that aspect, when I think about, you tomorrow or you yesterday and, whoever shows up, but just like that aspect of either way, you're you and you're amazing and beautiful and all of the things. You have value. None of that changes whether or not you have a great game tomorrow, a mediocre game, or a horrible one. And I think as we kind of wrap this up, one of the things that I was, work out every morning, and I have this virtual coach, Coach Brian, and I was listening to him. He always has like a message of the day. And today he talked about, he's like, privilege. Every day we have the privilege. Like, I just had the privilege of working out. I just had the privilege of working out in a hard way. I had the privilege of sitting here with you and having this conversation, and you have the privilege to go out and play. And I think I've been working with that energy all day of just looking at everything as sort of a gift. And it's brought a lot of softness to my day and a lot of gratitude. And I don't know, as I kind of wrap this up with you, this conversation.
The long and short of it.
Well, the long and short of it for me is like, don't give a shitism, right? Like, how do we just relax, surrender? And then the other aspect is the lens of prism, like the prism of privilege. Like, what a privilege it is to make that putt, miss that putt, have a good day, have a bad. It's living, and you're growing through it. What's the long and short of it for you?
The long and short of it, I would say the introspection is good.
Yeah.
And when you're in a moment, either in the moment, take a moment.
Yeah, if you can.
If you can. If not, later.
If you're in the moment, you can't take a moment, then see if you can change your mind and be like, you know what, I'm going to lean into this energy and maybe I'll just like have fun with bombing it, Yeah.
No, we're kind of taking a moment now.
Yeah.
Even though like this happened to me yesterday, but
yeah.
It's a day later. So
yeah,
coming back to it and just thinking about it, reframing it, having the what's the thing where you're trying to be present and catch something. I'm forgetting the word. Or is that you're paying attention and there's anyway.
Conscious? I don't know.
I don't know. Mindfulness. So being mindful about what is going on for you, and then recognizing when you're in a funny space, and then taking a moment at some point, then if you can, but later, but taking the moment to pick at it and then dig deep at it. It might be something that is just, that day, or it could be something from your childhood, or
don't be afraid to look at it. Just
look at the
dinosaur tail,
the little monster thingy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's okay. On that note, it's okay. And thank you all for tuning in. We have a call-in number, so if you have questions, you can either put them in the...
We should have gave that at the beginning.
Well, we can do it now. I mean, 313-356-6830. 313-356-6830. That's our call-in number if you want to call in and leave a comment, leave a question, or you can put in the comments. What do other people perceive as your strengths? If you have another person, you have also a story where you can you relate to this, and then support the podcast. How do they support the podcast?
Share it. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. You could sponsor the podcast if you want. There's Swingman Golf, my golf website. If you're a golfer and want to
be a member,
get into the golf stuff.
Yeah.
Go Swingman Golf.
Yeah. And then just go out there and have fun. That's also how you can support the podcast.
Yes.
Right. Go out there and live life, have fun.
Yeah.
Don't give a shitism.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Till next time, thank you so much.